Hey, Wildfire, Coach Zach here. I am watching some football on a Sunday with the family. Heather's Broncos are on, so they're taking down the Christmas tree, and I figured I would. I've got some finishing touches on meal prep I've got to do for the week for us. So super simple recipe. Um, just one of the ones that we go to because it's easy. It is mostly hands-free once you get everything kind of in. And it is a weekly meal that's easy to portion and control. Recipe-wise, I use MyFitnessPal. She uses MyFitnessPal. Really good protein and really, really easy to input and then continue to portion out through the week. One of those things that kind of saves a lot of time for us doing this meal prep is just keeping it stupid simple. And for me, with my background in culinary, it was really easy to pick stuff that was really fancy, but took a lot of time. And so over the years, I've really trimmed stuff down that I and the family enjoy into super simple recipes, just like you would. And I'll film it with the goal of maybe giving you guys some ideas or just showing you how I do things. And you can kind of cater to your own interests and needs. This is just a fajita chicken soup. Some super simple ingredients. I've got 3 bags of chicken from Costco, just the Kirkland chicken breast. It's one of my favorites, boneless, skinless chicken breasts. They weigh roughly, let's see here. It's varied servings by container. You can always weigh exactly how much goes in, but we do a lot of the stuff by volume, and I can show you that later. But start with your chicken breast. That's going to be your main point. I used to do a whole bunch of other veggies in it. I trim it down to just a couple onions. I've got salt. I've got pepper. I've got my chili powder. Really simple to buy this stuff off of Amazon Basics or wherever. Costco, Sam's Club has these big containers of it. We go through them. If you don't, spices do go bad eventually. So buy portions that you're going to use. So chili powder, paprika. I've got some garlic powder. I go with diced tomatoes and I go with tomato sauce. And then at the end, when it's pretty much all done, I add my rinsed and washed and drained black beans to it. And then you can take avocado if you want to when you serve it. So bunch of different ways you can do this. You can make it simpler, you can make it fancier. Whatever time you have and whatever needs you have for your own palate. So I'm not going to speed this up. So maybe I will. But for the sake of it, I'll show you, I'll film the whole thing. I'll chop it down if I need to. But my 2 onions, you peel, super simple. Other people have had talk about chopping onions, making them cry for whatever reason. I've never had that problem. I've chopped probably thousands of pounds of onions in my life. And I've rarely ever had a problem. But what we're gonna do is we cut along the halfway here, and then I go just a dice chop down the side, lengthways here, so the root would be here, top would be here. I go down, and then I make it maybe a pinky nail width or less, and then I just use my fingertips to hold it in place, and I dice it. So it all dices up just like that. And then when I get to the very end, it's already got some markings, but I just chop along that same dice pattern for the end. And the nice thing about this one, or this season in my life, I should say, is that they don't have to be the exact same size. And I've got nobody yelling at me, and I don't have to yell at anybody to make every single piece of something the exact same size, which for the better part of my life was a very important part of cooking, was the presentation of the whole thing. Um, better presentation, better experience. But we are a quick meal family around here. Heather generally takes this type of stuff in her containers. I've got that video from before that showed the type of containers that we use. And kitchen is really busy in our house. So I've always got a lot going on. I don't concern myself with too much mess, but again, what you want to do as you cook is you clean as you go, which makes it all super simple. So again, I cook in bulk, so I've got big pans. This pan, a little bit of oil. I really like this mixed, it's called Super Sizzle olive oil. And what it is just a saute blend oil from Costco. It's cheap, super easy. I used to buy my own little squeeze bottles for my sauces and oils and all that. Costco sells it for like 12 bucks. And then I just kind of fill in with oil as I need. Or I just rebuy it if it's sat for too long. So really nice to have. Again, with any cooking, wash your hands a lot, especially if you're going from surface to surface with anything. Make sure that any spray that you do have, you clean up. And you'll generally find yourself safe from any foodborne illness, which there are a lot. I don't measure out salt, pepper, that sort of thing. I guess years of knowing, but you can go in teaspoons if you want to. And then what I do, bring it over the stove, set it on medium, hit it with another little topper drizzle of oil, and I'll show you the end product, but I just sweat them. It's called sweating. They get a little translucent, a little bit brown, brings the flavor out. And you can just chop them and put them right into the crock pot. I choose not to because I generally like the taste of the pre-sauteed a little bit better. But again, we'll get into the chicken breast. Very, very easy. You're just going to take your crock pot, make sure that you are not getting that chicken juice all over everything. And it goes right into the pot. I don't worry about non-stick spray or anything like that inside of the crock pot because it just spends so long in there that generally that doesn't adhere to the ceramic. But I'd guess I've got about 3 or 4 pounds of meat in here. I should probably for you guys just measure it out just to make sure. Do that in a second here. Wash hands, dump the chicken container. We generally look for good deals on chicken. I bounce back between, I like chicken thighs more than chicken breasts, but the fat from the chicken thighs, if it's fatty, my wife doesn't like it. But also to not add the fat to the meal is also something that we try not to do in these. So handy dandy foodware right on top. Got her in ounces. I'm just going to kind of transfer this crock pot over. I'll measure it for you guys, zero it out. We're going to go right from crock pot to this bowl. And again, being careful just to be aware of where that chicken breast is, and if there is drips, to clean it up afterwards. Chicken breast will lose a little bit of weight as you cook it, but so right now we are at, not kilograms, thank you, 3 pounds, 8.2 ounces. So again, that can go right back into that then. That goes into the sink. So 3.8 ounces on that. From here, super easy. All I've got to do, season it how I want it. If you guys have sodium concerns, always easy just to omit the salt. I think it adds a lot of flavor. I'm a big salt guy. I try not to do a ton of salt outside of my cooking, but I do find that the elements are really beneficial for electrolyte and sweat loss during the summertime, but I back off in the winter just because I know how I cook. So that goes into the sink. A little more salt and pepper. And all we're going to do now is take these cans. I'm going to come over to the sink here. Show you guys. Pretty simple setup on that. Got a couple different, it's just a busy kitchen. But all we have to do from there is add our ingredients. Again, keep it simple, and you'll be all right. Because the less time you have to take to make something really great, that will taste good and is easily storable, easily portioned, easily reheatable, edible, has the same kind of mouthfeel that it does when you cook it, is all part of important things when considering meal prepping. So what we do is we save the cans, because when I load it into, or Heather loads it into MyFitnessPal, this is all stuff that you do have to load because not a lot of carbs, but they're in there. So this is all diced tomatoes, and I just cover it well. I like the fajita soup to be nice and tomatoey as far as the dice. And then if you're making a stew, you can always just go with more of a sauce, or however you like your chili. If you like it tomatoey, totally up to you on how you do it. But that would be, let's see. And the tomatoes, they expand as well, water-wise, when the chicken starts to lose a little bit of weight. So again, after that, all I'm going to do is hit it with some garlic powder. I do not measure it out. You can look up a nice recipe and figure it out from there and play with it. But I just generally don't find the need anymore, just based on, I guess, experience level with everything. There's the paprika. And here is the chili powder. What I like for the chili powder is it's got cumin in it, and cumin will get really bitter the longer you cook it or if you overheat it. So I like to hit it just so the tomato and soup absorbs some of it, and then I'll finish it with some cumin and chili powder at the end and just kind of help cook that. But you can also add your spices into the end of the saute on the onions. And we're just going to bump that up a little bit. Start to really hear those onions sizzle and cook. And again, it doesn't matter much if you want to just throw them into the slow cooker. One less pan, one less thing to clean. Really nice. But again, I like that browned taste a little bit more. So that's what I do. Yeah, buddy. It's a video.
Why are you doing a video?
We'll just mix that around a little bit. Just get some of those tomatoes underneath the chicken. And just by the nature of the slow cooker, this will always kind of melt and mesh as it cooks over, your 8-hour period or so. It's also really easy to overcook chicken in a slow cooker, especially chicken breast, where it doesn't have a lot of structure, just protein. So you don't want to leave this in for too long, because the chicken gets really mushy, which not a bad thing. It's going to happen. But I just like to have that chicken with a little bit of texture at the end. Again, same with the pork. If you ever do pork in a slow cooker and you don't remove the fat or a lot of the fat from it, you'll end up with more of a mushy product. So maybe I'll do like a pork sirloin recipe at some point, or a pork. I like to use pork sirloin from Fry's. Costco used to sell it. They don't anymore. It's just more pork butter, pork shoulder, and it's really hard to remove the fat from that. But the more fat you leave in, the more mushy that feel will be, because you've got to remove it in a couple different ways. So into the sink. Onions are well on their way. Give them a shake. Scoop the sides down a little bit. And if you don't have tomato sauce, you can always do tomato paste with the chicken stock. I use the bone sipping broth. It's a little more expensive, but it does have a lot better flavor and good protein in it. And again, that's a Costco product that I really like. I use this for a lot of noodles. I make sure the kids get a lot of that in their diet, just because it's something that is neutral. And it's not that they're picky eaters, but they're kids. So onions are well on the way. And so what we'll do is I'll try to always start this sometime in the morning, maybe just after I get home from the gym, or if I have, like, we generally don't have a lot of time before the gym because it's a waste to travel. You got to get the kids up and all that. But if you can put it in before the gym, it's always done for dinner at that point. So this one will be late for me today, but I just take it off a little bit early, stick it in the fridge. It cools down that way. And then for the next meal that we have, I finish it back on the slow cooker on low for an hour or two, making sure that everything's cooked and it tastes the way I want it to. But generally, if you can get this in early and you want it for dinner, you can shred the chicken. You can make sure it tastes good. Have avocado or cilantro or whatever else you need in there done. But this is good to go for now. All I'm going to do is top it and set it after I get the onions in. And again, I've got the black beans. What I'll do is I've got a colander, dump them in there. I wash them off. If you ever have problems with flatulence with beans, generally washing them off will take care of a lot of that. Or you get the burps or something like that from black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans. Wash them off, drain them, make sure they're rinsed down nice, and then add them. The black beans are really nice because they add good fiber, good protein. And it's just one of those things that we prefer the taste of, especially reheated. They take on a good texture and they kind of maintain it. But you can add all sorts of stuff. Look up your favorite fajita soup recipe or chicken tortilla recipe, whatever you want to call it. You can add bell pepper, fire roasted onions. Trader Joe's has a really nice product that's bell peppers and fire roasted onions, and it comes frozen. We use that for a ton of stuff, and it's super easy. You could just add a bag of that and you've got some veggies there. We try to get in as many veggies as we can. Eating something like this, we do Brussels sprouts a lot. Broccoli, a really nice finish to the dish is a cauliflower rice. Again, Costco has these big bags of cauliflower rice that are really easy to do in a saute pan or in the microwave. They're a couple of really nice products, and they add a ton of value. Veggies do in that way to your diet. If you can get in 500 grams a day, you are well on your way to having a really good nutrition journey. So I can just show you here. Now would be the time if you're going to add tomato paste. If you're going to add tomato paste and some seasonings to it, you add it now. You cook that tomato paste a little bit. Do it a little bit like a roux. Cook it, give it nice flavor. Pour a little bit of chicken stock in there, and then it goes into the pan. But I like my stuff oniony, and I don't have to add onion powder or anything. Not artificial, but the more real food I can get in that adds value, the better. And so that goes in. All I'm going to do is hit it with a little bit of a pat down to make sure that they start to get into the soup right away. And again, this will bubble and mix and melt. And I just want to make sure that we're adding that onion flavor right away. And if you do it different, let me know what you like about your recipe that you add. Again, I grabbed all this stuff literally in 5 minutes before I randomly shot this video for the day. I did all of it on the fly here. So what I'll do is top it. Goes right into that countertop that the kids cannot touch. On it goes. Low goes, and it's set and forget until it's done. So a lot of different ways to do all that stuff. Again, what I will do at the end, when it's done cooking, is make sure that it tastes good. I shred the chicken. I make sure that everything's in there that I need to be in there flavor wise. I add a little bit of salt, a little pepper. Again, I'll finish it with the chili powder at the end of the night here, and add just a little bit in and let that cook for another hour and a half before it's totally done, just to get that a little bit less of a bitter taste. That cumin can be a little more fresh in there. But you can make it spicy, you can make it not spicy. You can add any type of beans that you like. You can add some veggies if you like. Just a simple tomato base. I love tomato for the nutritional flavor. I followed the Mediterranean diet for a long time, and I find a lot of value in the way that methodology of that diet, what they believe in. And it's a lot of tomatoes. And growing up in the Midwest, big tomato guy. So a lot of different ways to do that. But that's the general basic of any really simple slow cooker soup. So that'll all be done. I've got these at the ready. These are 32-ounce containers. If you post a link in there. But again, all the recipe ingredients go into MyFitnessPal, and then based on how many of these 32-ounce containers we fill, that's what we divide it by, and then it can go into ounces. And then when you do go to scoop it out or portion it out into whatever container, whatever bowl you're going to do, we get a cup out. That's 8 ounces. If you want 2 cups, that's 16, so on and so forth. You can measure it out by weight. That's generally going to be the same. Same for same fluid versus weight, but very simple, quick for us, and that's a week-long meal. And for us, that's really important because we're at a place where we can eat the same thing 3 times a week and not be sick of it 3-4 times a week. And once I get done with the kids, it's really just easy for me to heat up, eat it, and then be on with my day. And it's important to me to be eating something that I like, that tastes good, and doesn't take a ton of time in the kitchen. So that would have gone even faster had I not done the video and been talking your ear off. But we watched a little football. We got some cooking done for the week. That'll be at least six total meals, if not 8. And I'll show the results at the end. And hit me with any questions you guys got.